Alright, so for our next practice project, we're just going to make a stack of boxes with a ruler. We're just going to make a stack of boxes. Just line drawing, no shading, very simple, just a practice. Alright? Okay, so same deal. We still need to know where our eye level line is because we have eyes and they are level to something, and that's how this works. Without that, this don't work. Alright, I am also going to establish my vanishing point in the center and my 2 on the sides for my 1 and 2 point perspective. And so I find it's easiest to start with the box that is in the middle and then draw from there down and up. But basically start with the one in the middle first. So we could choose a 1 or a 2 point perspective box for this first box. Starting with a 1 point perspective box would be terrible because essentially if you had a 1 point perspective box on top of your vanishing point, you have a square. And that doesn't, even though that is correct for how it would look, a box really looks like a square when all you can see is one side. That is not a very interesting compositionally, A, and B, it doesn't really show you anything. You don't learn anything from that. So the first one should be 2 point perspective. I'm actually going to put, and again, we are working in landscape. We're working with the paper horizontal. All right, so because it's 2 point perspective, I start with the corner closest to me. I chose the corner to be on this side because I did, and really no reason whatsoever. Absolutely no rhyme or reason. So, bada bing, bada boom. And when you do this yourself, you do not have to go all the way across the page. I am just doing this to show you that I'm going to the X. You really only have to go as far or a little further than you think you want the edge of the box to be. And you could stop there, that would be fine. I could stop there, but obviously you need the ruler to go all the way across, but you don't have to have the line go all the way across. Alright, so this first box, I'm going to make it somewhere in here. And here. And pretty much for my first box, that's all I need to do. I could draw the whole backside and everything of it, but I really don't need to right now for this exercise. So I'm going to darken up these lines a little bit. Generally speaking, you should not darken up your lines till you're at the end. I just don't know what shows up on video, so I'm making it darker just to make sure that you can in fact see it on the video, which I believe you can. Okay, so what would I do next? So this box I started with is basically at my eye level, which means I cannot see the bottom and I cannot see the top of the box because it is at eye level. So anything below that is going to be different. Depending on how janky we get to this box, it's going to be a little bit different. So I'm actually going to put one over here. So if I put it along this line, I would have a box that has a side basically level with that. Depending on where I put it, I can give myself a little bit of a gap so that you can see a little bit of the top on that side. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to go up all the way to this box. I'm going to keep it down there. And what that means, giving that space there, that's actually going to give me some more space for a top. So like I had an edge here. If I put it all the way up on here, it would like disappear under that box. It would be like this box is hanging over that box, which you could do also, because this is just a practice. but you should just be aware of what will happen when you do things. You should just try things and play around so that you can see, don't make it too easy on yourself. Give yourself problems to solve, because that way when you're actually drawing something, you have kind of experienced it already and you kind of are already ready and know what you're dealing with. Because you've made an actual problem that you're running into in real life. And that's useful. Okay, because I gave myself a space there, I got a little bit of top here, so this is going to go back. That's going to give me another edge. So I'm going to put my box to here. And I'm actually going to cut it short over here. Great. And by great, I mean not great. All right. Good, I found something. Seems that the position I have chose is too far down. But we'll see. Yeah, it's too far down. So we get like a gap here, which is fine. I could put another box in there. So we know any box that occupies that space is going to take up this exact space there. So we could, for instance, stick a flat box in there simply by picking an upright. And we can take it not all the way down. Where do I want to put it? I want it a little bit farther back, but in there. So I'm going to put it right there. Again, I'm trying to make things harder on myself on purpose, just because I want to see what happens. If I don't make things harder on myself, I will not see what happens. And that will not be very helpful to learning anything. This side, you know what might be interesting? If this whole thing popped out the side. Yeah, see, yeah, I like that idea. I'm actually going to pull this side all the way out. I'm going to pull this side all the way out. And I'm going to decide it sticks out to here-ish. Get rid of that line. Because this is going to go back into space here, if I want to make this even with this edge, I actually have to go like this. From the X to that corner, and then from the corner out. That will give me the point at which this upright is here on the side. So just darken it up a little bit so you guys can see it. I basically, or you can stop making that noise. That would also be good. So I've made a box stick out the side. Of here, but I wanted that box to be a little bit farther back, so I got a little bit of a lip of the top of this box here. And it comes a little bit shy of this, so this actually comes out and hangs out a little bit over that edge by a slight bit. So I did that just to make it a little bit more interesting, and because I was trying to make things harder on myself, because why not? Okay, so far we have a box in the middle, and we have boxes below. So we can see the tops of those boxes in places, but we can't see the bottoms of those boxes in places. So that means anything sitting on top of this box or higher, we're not going to see the bottom of that box. So if I draw that line up above this at all in any place, that means it's essentially flying in the air, and I will see the bottom. So unless it's hanging over the edge, like if I had a long box that was hanging over the edge, you're not going to see the bottom of it. So, for instance, well, I can start with a small one. I could put a couple boxes in there and have a box sitting on a box. Let's try that. I've never done that before. So let's say if I did a 1-point perspective box this time. This box is just chilling up here, right? I'm barely going to see the edge of that because it's going to be going straight for that X in the middle. And then I have another upright right there. So that box is facing us because it's 1-point perspective, because I decided to throw a 1-point perspective in there. And I'm going to put a 2-pointer in there. I'm going to throw it more on this side. I'm going to throw it over here. And I'm going to have it go. And that's kind of irrelevant because you're not going to see that edge. Really, you only can see the top of this. So I'm going to make it just the edge of this box, right there. And I'm going to just go back a little bit, and then right there. So we got 2 boxes chilling up there. And then I'm going to stick, I'll stick 1 more box on top of those boxes, just because. Why not? And so I'm going to kind of decide where we want that front edge to be by just using my ruler. I'm going to run that edge right there, and I'm going to have that first corner closest to me right here, and then I'm going to kind of follow that way. And I'm going to make this kind of like a skinny box. Skinny and long. Just so it's like straddling both the boxes. So this side's going to be pretty short. This side's really just going to be like that. But this side's going to be really long, where it goes across both those boxes. So it's like resting on those boxes. In fact, I'm going to run all the way across to there. And so the bottom of this is going to go this way, and the bottom of this one's going to go that way. And this one's going to go this X right here. Okay, so you can see the bottom of that box, obviously. It's resting on these 2 boxes. So there you have it. I can darken it up a little bit, but basically you can see how I just built that out of nothing, and I just tried things that were hard because I wanted to. You should just do whatever you're comfortable with. You should just try the level that you can try. But basically you're going to make a box out of nothing, starting with the middle. And I'm going to darken up these lines that are closest to you just to show you atmospheric perspective one more time. I want this kind of shooting out at you. And I'm going to make it fade as it gets farther back, so I'm going to make it dark on this edge. Kind of get less dark as it goes away from you. You could definitely see how like darker lines do jump out at you more. We could make lighter lines in the background. Also, when we shade it, we can make we can use that to also to create a little bit of volume as well. But we aren't shading this. It's just a practice. You can see that all the 2-point perspectives go to one place. All the 1-point perspectives go to one place. I only did 1 point in here. You could have done 1 point down there. You could have put 1 point anywhere you wanted. The only thing is, if you do a 1 point on this column, you want it to be to the left or the right, because otherwise you're not going to see a side. You're literally just going to see a square unless you can see the top. But that's the practice. It's pretty easy. You should definitely give that a shot.